Is Bitcoin part of the grand paradigm shift of global wealth? I think you guys know the answer, but we're going to explore anyway. Bitmex might be in big trouble. China recognizes Bitcoin as property, and a quick review of a hot new privacy coin called Tixel. So, Bitcoin. It has popped back over the $10,000 mark. We are back in 5-digit territory. It sure didn't last long down in the 9,000 zones, did it? And yeah, we're passing through some, turbulent times in the price of Bitcoin here, but that's part of the fun, guys. It's incredible to see how strong the buy pressure is for Bitcoin. We shot up $1,000 in a matter of minutes. It's amazing. And a reminder, 1 million Satoshis is only around 105 US dollars today. Damn bargain if you ask me. Now on to the first big story of the day. The Seychelles-based cryptocurrency exchange Bitmex is being probed by the US CFTC over client trades. Now the funny thing is, the last time I checked, the Seychelles were not a part of the United States. But here we are having this conversation. Well, actually, one of the things that they're investigating Bitmex for is that U.S. citizens may have been using Bitmex via VPNs, which basically is a certainty that they have been. So much for freedom for U.S. traders. The CFTC is here to save you guys. Now, of course, you know why companies like Bitmex try to block U.S. traders, because it brings the regulators down on top of you. It is, of course, ridiculous that traders in the land of the free are unable to use these leverage platforms for trading in the first place, and that they have to turn to VPNs anyway. And, of course, the hypocrisy that in the United States you can walk into a casino or you can walk into a lottery office, put your entire life savings on the table, and no one is going to bat an eye. But you can't do leverage trading. And of course, this comes just 2 weeks after the Hayes-Rubini debate in Taipei, and a day after Nouriel Roubini released an editorial saying that Bitmex is doing basically all sorts of nefarious crap. Are we happy now, cryptocurrency conferences? You have invited Madman Nouriel to enough meetings that he finally felt so angry that he narked on Bitmex. Well done, guys. Nouriel Roubini attacked Bitmex, saying that it may be openly involved in systemic illegality. And if anyone knows about systemic illegality, it is Nouriel Roubini. His resume includes the IMF, the Federal Reserve, the World Bank, and the U.S. Treasury Department. Systemic illegality is his game. Now, Roubini was also citing an anonymous blog, so super legit source material from Nouriel here. He also alleged that the exchange trades against its own clients and skirts anti-money laundering regulations. Fun times. Anyway, I wanted to explore the big question today. Is Bitcoin the new paradigm in wealth storage? Well, for us enthusiasts, the answer is duh, of course. What, have you been living under a rock or something? But for mainstream investors, the acceptance of Bitcoin is on the rise too. Ray Dalio, the famous billionaire investor, is now calling on investors to buy gold. Ray, come on, Ray, WTF, man, you were supposed to say Bitcoin, not gold, man. This guy. Okay, well, he didn't say Bitcoin. He actually laid out a pretty dire picture of where the global economy is heading and why Bitcoin may be a good hedge in this situation. According to Ray, the world's economy is poised to enter a tough time, in particular citing things that we've been talking about for quite a while here. Central banks' efforts trying to devalue their currencies to inflate the economies artificially, and that is exactly what has been happening over the past few years. The U.S. Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, and many more besides that are trying to print their way out of trouble, and it's simply not going to work in the long run, guys. Record-breaking debt is weighing down many major economies. Sovereign bond yields are in the negative zone. Deutsche Bank is failing, with investors pulling $1 billion a day out of the bank, which of course risks sending basically the entire incestuous, steaming pile of banking doo-doo down the global economic toilet, which would devastate so many people's lives for their reckless gambling. The coming paradigm shift, according to Dalio, who has a net worth of $18 billion, we'll see the value of money depreciate, as well as significant domestic and internal conflicts, which is exactly what is happening right now. Fiat value is falling, fiat is inflating. The economic order globally is in chaos. Trade wars are intensifying. Sanctions regimes are crushing economies, forcing them to use alternatives like cryptocurrencies, and the real possibility of new hot wars as tensions rise in key areas around the world remain. He goes on to say that there are a lot of parallels between now and the late 1930s. From 1929 to 1932, there was a debt crisis in the USA. Interest rates hit zero. Then there was a lot of money printing, and purchases of financial assets brought their prices higher. In other words, the stage is set for an alternative asset and stores of value. Things like gold or like Bitcoin. And Ray is right about the macro stuff, 100%. And sure, look, Ray recommends gold, writing that it may be risk reducing and return enhancing for investors to add precious metals to their portfolio. But you have to keep it real, guys. Ray is old school. I get it. He doesn't get Bitcoin. That's okay. In fact, he has openly been skeptical of it in the past. But these old school guys like Ray, they're not dumb, even if they don't get the technology. They can read the markets like a fly fisherman reading the river, guys. Tough times are coming. The macro picture is there. You just have the right eyes to see it. And the stage is set for a lot of pain economically. Bitcoin is perfect in these situations. Bitcoin was literally made for this situation. The Bitcoin halving is only a year away, guys, which just underlines the scarcity factor of Bitcoin, which is such a strong contrast to fiat currencies. And yeah, sure, Ray Dalio recommends gold. That, in his life experience, has been the safe haven and the safe haven of his friends. Why would he change now in his old years? But for newer investors, or simply for investors with a better understanding of technology, Bitcoin is the opportunity of a lifetime. Bitcoin is digital gold. Bitcoin is already a great store of wealth, but it is also a majorly undervalued asset, especially when you compare it to gold. Anyway, all of this basically confirms my next story, which is that new research from CB Insights states that blockchain venture capital is on track for a 60% decline when compared to 2018 figures. Now, this means a few things. It means that VCs are investing less, but that they are still investing into higher quality ICOs. It also means that Bitcoin is back in fashion big time. Maybe we can finally see an end to this blockchain, not Bitcoin mantra that has been being repeated for such a long time. We can see from the institutional offerings of Bakkt and Fidelity and LedgerX and the CME and so many others that Bitcoin, not anything else, is the hot thing right now with the big money crowd. But money is also flowing to other places, just not in the same degree. Watch out for when Ethereum futures are launched on the CME or when we see litecoin futures coming in. Those things will happen, but they're not happening right now. And actually, to play a bit more off of Ray's statements, this next story out of China really reinforces the Bitcoin not gold and the Bitcoin not blockchain narratives. The facts that we live in basically a hyper-global society right now. Gold cannot be used to move wealth around the world in minutes. It takes planes, it takes security, it takes customs forms and customs duties and customs bribes, etc., etc., etc. And of course, gold is really easy for the government to take if they know that you have it. And gold is still gold. Look, I don't invest in gold personally. I understand why some people like investing in gold. I get it. And I respect you for doing it. But I believe Bitcoin is better. I believe that Bitcoin is digital gold. And anyway, about China. Big news out of China. Bitcoin has been declared a legal commodity in a Chinese court. Bitcoin has been legally recognized as a virtual property with monetary value by the Hangzhou Internet Court, one of 3 such courts inside of China, for the first time in China. Now, this follows a similar but slightly different ruling in 2018 by the Shenzhen Arbitration Commission, which declared that the asset should be protected in accordance with the law. Obviously, this still does little to change the attitude of the government towards trading, buying, and selling of Bitcoin, which remain prohibited. But really confirms the gray zone status of Bitcoin. You can mine it, it's legal to have it, so long as you don't do certain things with it. Come on, China, lighten up, man. Let your people have Bitcoin. Of course, China has only really succeeded in proving one thing about Bitcoin, is that Bitcoin cannot be stopped, as by all accounts the Chinese black market for Bitcoin is thriving. Because of course it is. It is much easier to move $10 million in Bitcoin out of China than it is to move $10 million in gold, especially if you don't want the government to know what you're doing. Okay guys, and finally, speaking of privacy, today I wanted to give you some information about Tixel, which is a hot new privacy coin which is having a limited pre-sale which has just gone live. By the way guys, this is not a sponsored part of the show today. There is a referral link down below though, which you can use if you want to support the channel. I will receive a small commission from any purchases made using that referral link at no additional cost to you. However, should you prefer not to use the referral link, then you can still listen to the sweet free information and go over to tixel.me to check out the project. Unfortunately, there are no US buyers allowed in this sale. Sorry guys. So, what is Tixel? Well, the super short version is kind of like Nano, but with privacy. The slightly longer version is that Tixel is a directed acyclic graph, or a DAG, which is an increasingly popular system for cryptocurrency due to its high scalability. Thanks to the DAG, it will be near instant to send and incur 0 fees. Tixel will be private by default, so there will be no optional privacy. It'll just be private all the time. It will be leveraging the power of zero knowledge proofs and confidential transactions to ensure that your transactions stay between you and the receiver and no one else. Now, both of these technologies are industry standard privacy implementations which have proven their robustness over time via vigorous testing in the field, transferring money from people to people every single day. Tixel is also working on future-proofing itself against quantum computers by using top-level encryption and signatures. Also, the token metrics for Tixel are really good, with a whopping 65% going to the public and only 5% going to the founders. So if you have been a bit jaded by ICOs recently with tiny allocations for the public, well, here's your shot, guys. These guys are giving 2/3 away to the public, so that's really cool. The main net will not be out until next year, though, so it is certainly a bit of a speculative investment since a lot can happen between now and then. DYOR as always. Tixel is now in phase 2 of its pre-sale, so it's a good chance to get in early on the project. For the first 38 hours of the sale, there will be a 32% discount, which if you missed the initial sale the other month, then this is your chance to pick up some cheap tokens before the IEO kicks off later this year. Historically, privacy coins have been very hot, guys. Just look at how well the Wimble coins have done in the last few months, and just how successful the likes of Monero and Zcash have been over time. I definitely could see Tixel as being a new player in the privacy coin space if they get it right. Anyway, guys, you will let me know what you think about Tixel, or Ray Dalio's comments, or what's going on in China, or anything else down below in the comment section. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching today's video. I super appreciate your time. And if you did enjoy today's video, hit that thumbs up button. Remember, you can always come over to the Telegram group and join us, where we're always chatting about crypto and having a good time. You can subscribe to the channel if you are new around here. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.